I bought a storage facility from a guy, Ernest. Ernest was his name, and he actually owned car washes. That was his thing. You'll notice this if anybody has ever come across a storage facility and a car wash, right? You noticed this before. Actually, this happens all the time, right? The storage facility and the car wash are on the same piece of land. And we bought his storage facility. And it used to be he had a storage facility and a car wash. Let me see, I can just kind of draw this out. I didn't get my marker. Hang on just a sec. So, can y'all see this? Okay, yeah. So he has not straight or something. Oh, that's much better. Okay. He has like, here's the road, and then here's his property. It's kind of like this. And he has like a car wash right here, had a car wash right here. And then he has like storage kind of like this. That's kind of how it looks, right? This used to be a car wash. And these are all like units, okay? And then like as time went on, it was one of these car washes, right? Where it's like, nobody wants to go wash their own car anymore. Who wants to do that? You could just pay like $10 a month and just go as many times as you want now, right? So essentially that happened over the last 10 years or whatever it was. So instead he converted it into a building, and he rented that space out, right? And it was one of these car washes that had the bays like that, right? And so he converted this into an auto mechanic shop, is what he did. And so now this is actually an auto mechanic. So when we bought the place, there's an auto mechanic guy there is what it is. And so we own an auto mechanic, not an auto mechanic shop, I guess. We rent it out to him. So I guess we just own the building, and then he's the auto mechanic. But so he pays rent every single month. And that was one of the really good things about this property too, because he pays like $1,260. I don't know if it's $1,600 or $1,200 or whatever he pays a month for this facility. I think it's like $1,600. So that was like an added bonus to the property itself, right? This property, Ernest was he's older. I think he's like almost 90 years old. I think he was 89 years old. And I was just driving around, and I went and checked out the facility. And when I was in front of the facility, Rainbow Car Wash, or Rainbow Self Storage is what it was called. Rainbow Self Storage, which is exactly what my daughter would want to name the storage facility if she had the choice, right? She would just call it Rainbow Self Storage. And so I called up the owner, it was Ernest, and I was like, Ernest, hey, this is Stacy. I was like, I'm interested in buying. I was like, hey, I'm checking out your facility here. And I wanted to get some information on it. And he was like, oh, you want a unit? I was like, no. I want to buy your facility. Are you interested in selling your facility? And he said, where are you? And I said, yeah, I'm like right in front of your facility right now. He's like, I live right around the corner. Just give me a few minutes and I'll be over there. Because when they say that, they want to sell that thing, right? And I did not know at the time that this auto mechanic shop was included. I just thought it was this, okay? And so it's like, I think it's like 60 to 70 units. I can't remember how big it is. So it's not like super big, but this is a 1 acre lot right here. This is essentially a 1 acre lot. And it's like maybe 60 or 70 units. I can maybe 69 or some 68. There's no parking or anything like that. And so he came over, and I talked to Ernest, and I said, okay, I was like, I really want to buy your place. Is it for sale? And if it's for sale, what would you sell it for? And I didn't even ask him what the numbers were. I was like, are you making any money on this? And he's like, yeah, I'm making, a little bit of money or whatever, which basically means he probably has no idea, which I already knew. He had no idea. I mean, this looked like a place where he had no idea how much money he was making. All right. And I also knew that he was like older, and, the older you get, the less you care about anything. Right. So I basically said, what do you want to sell this thing for? And he told me he wanted to sell it for $200,000 or $225,000. And I said, okay, great. I was like, I can close in a month. Let's do it. And he's like, oh, no. He's like, if I'm going to sell this to you, I'm going to be the bank. And at that point in time, I was like, what? Like, he's actually telling me he wants to be a bank. I was like, yes, let's do it. What's the terms? And he was like, it's, he's like, you pay me 6% for 10 years. And so I quickly, like, in my mind, kind of calculated it out. I was like, that's like $75,000 in interest. I was like, done, let's do it. So we put it under contract. But when I talked to him, when I asked him, I was like, why? I was like, first of all, I was like, Ernest, I was like, are you sure you want to owner finance this to me? I mean, you're like 90 years old. I mean, it's like, you think, are you going to live to be 100 years old? I mean, you're going to die soon. And he was like, oh, no. He's like, I'm not owner financing this for me. This is not mine. He's like, this is for my family. I'm owner financing it for my family. So I know that when I die, they're going to get $2,000 a month or whatever. And I was just like, when I heard that, and I told him, I was like, when I grow up, I want to be you. That's what I want to be, is somebody like you, because essentially he understands that, he's selling it for $225,000 and going to make $75,000 on it. And no money down. And he understands this whole concept of owner financing and being the bank and lending, right? And that's what I told him. I was like, when I grow up, I want to be you, So he owner financed it to me, and that was like one of the very first deals that I had done, and I was like, wow. I was like, if he is open to doing this, who else is open to doing this? And essentially, since then, everybody that I talked to, every owner that I talked to, I'm always bringing up that they can be the bank. And the thing is that when you get into your 60s, like 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, you're thinking about how much money you can hold on to, right? And people, most investors or people that own business and stuff, they understand that they have to pay taxes if they sell that money. If I would have just paid 225 cash, he would have had to pay like taxes on that, and he would have only got like 150 grand or whatever, And so he knew that, right? So now, because he's owner financing this over 10 years, that capital gains that he makes every single month is deferred. I mean, essentially, he only pays taxes every year on the income that he makes. So he makes, 20 grand a year. So he just has to pay taxes on 20 grand a year instead of having that one big, huge chunk come out at the same time. And that, my friend, is probably one of the wisest things that you can do as an investor. And I'm telling you, a lot of owners, self-storage owners, understand this concept, understand it. All right. So one of the ways for you to get, if you have no money to put down or very little money to put down, is to get an owner of a storage facility to finance that deal for you. And most of the time when you meet somebody like Ernest, that property is free and clear. Okay, that property is free and clear. So they are okay with owner financing it because all they're going to do is just get that money every single month. Okay, and I mean, at 6% interest at 225 or 200 or whatever it was, like, I mean, essentially I could go to the bank and I could get, right now at 5% interest. So like everybody's like, are you going to refi that out? And I'm like, what is the purpose of like paying extra money to get that refied out? When really, I mean, just a couple $1,000s is all I'm going to pay extra for him being the bank, right? So that is one of the ways. And guess what? You can do that on any type of property, any type of storage facility. If it's a mismanaged facility, income producing property, any type of property that you can think of. Even you can get, if you want to do new construction and you want to build a storage facility, why not find somebody that has a piece of land in the perfect area that you know of that really could use a storage facility right now, right? Go to that person and, see if they'll partner with you by owner financing the property to you, right? That land to you. And then you can borrow the money to build a storage facility. So you can owner finance land, you can owner finance. You can be the bank. You can also later, you can always be the bank later, you know what I'm saying? But like essentially you can have somebody be the bank and lend you the money for the land, for the facility, for the warehouse. If you find somebody, you want to do a conversion and you find like an old warehouse that somebody owns, right? Get them to owner finance the deal to you and partner the deal. Like, look, you have the building. I know how to build the storage facility. Why don't we partner? You finance me the building and make money off of this building, and I'll finance the, you know, the conversion, and we can partner that way, right? So owner financing and partnering are key. And I feel like owner financing really is partnering. And my lenders that lend to me, I consider them all partners. Okay. So, like I said, I talked to somebody today. We had an hour conversation and they want to partner with me on a deal. And they're just lending the money. That's all they're doing is just lending. Right. And essentially they'll finance and I'll be the boots on the ground person. And, you know, and then we'll have like a split, like a profit split that we'll do. That's like, you know, fair for all of us. And we'll do a deal that way, you know, and we'll start out with something, you know, maybe reasonable, $1 million or something like this. And then after that, we'll move up to a bigger deal or something, you know. So I want you to just keep in mind that all the ways that you can fund, all the ways that you can invest in self-storage, mismanaged, income producing, developing and doing conversions. Is anybody here interested in doing development or conversions? Just let me know in the chat as well too. And then also new construction. You can get the owner to owner finance these types of deals, right?